Gurmagad an Darragh Tábh. Gurmagad Ceann Comhairle. Taoiseach, looking at the papers here and in the UK, I think you'll agree there's a huge contrast on how the draft withdrawal agreement is actually being received. It's a 585-page long document, and it outlines in detail how 45 years of deep integration, protecting certain rights, defining outstanding obligations, and actually sets out a transition period in which both the EU and the UK can adjust. Commitments in this document go up to 2030 and beyond. It sets out how EU citizens who live in the UK will be catered for in relation to their rights, and indeed how UK citizens will be catered for within the EU. One of the protocols in the draft agreement makes unique arrangements for the North of Ireland. This includes protection of rights, security cooperation and the continuation of the common travel area. In this draft withdrawal agreement, the Good Friday Agreement remains intact. This protocol also outlines how the backstop arrangements, and how these would remain in place unless a separate EU-UK deal actually replaces them. This draft agreement allows the UK to leave the EU on the 29th of March next, which is only in 165 days' time. It is a draft treaty until the EU on November the 26th meet, and more importantly, until the UK Parliament vote on it before Christmas. Our party, as you know, Taoiseach, gave a cautious welcome to the draft withdrawal agreement that has taken thousands of hours of negotiation, meeting and compromises from all sides. It is obviously in Ireland and the UK and indeed the EU's interest to have a Brexit deal. The alternative does not bear thinking about, because it will have huge economic and other ramifications for Ireland and the UK and indeed the EU as a whole. However, the alternative no-deal crash-out may become a reality, and we will have to plan accordingly given what is happening this morning and continues to happen in Britain as I stand here today. The DUP have unfortunately said that they will not be voting for the agreement even before they read it. The Brexit Secretary, Dominic Raab, has resigned his post, and 2 other junior ministers have also resigned so far. 3 now. It shows you how quickly things are moving. We do not know if there will be any more as the day goes on, and while it's a matter for the UK, it does have serious consequences for Ireland and the rest of the EU. Taoiseach, do you accept that these resignations are giving very negative indications for the ability of the UK Parliament to vote for the draft withdrawal agreement, particularly as the British Labour Party leader Jeremy Corbyn in the UK said this morning that the draft deal, and I quote him, is ill-defined, and that he would prefer no deal rather than a bad deal. Have you, Taoiseach, or the Taoiseach met, or are you planning to meet with Mr Corbyn to discuss the draft withdrawal agreement before the vote takes place? And as the EU Council is meeting on Sunday week next, on the 26th of November, do you, Taoiseach, expect changes to the current draft after that Council meeting? And can you confirm, finally, that Government are increasing your preparedness for a no-deal Brexit scenario as advised by the European Commission? Taoiseach, I did ask whether you had any plans, whether you'd met the British Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn, or whether you plan to do so. So you might answer that question when you come back in. Look, we all acknowledge that there are deep and serious concerns within the UK, and I would say, Taoiseach, that there's no triumph in negotiating something which can't be delivered. So we all need to be mature about this. And I would say further that the time for victory and celebration is when this draft agreement is accepted and ratified by all. I think you and your ministers should be acutely aware of the impact of comments made here in Ireland during a very sensitive and volatile situation in the UK. And I would ask, Taoiseach, that you, your colleagues in government, to try from today to resist the temptation to brief in vitriolic statements to the press, as we have seen in some of the Irish newspapers today. I think that's irresponsible, and I think you should desist from doing that. Put the national interest first in this instance. So a lot of time and effort has gone in by your government, and indeed with the support of the opposition. So I think every statement being made in Ireland here is being scrutinised, and we should be aware of that. Silence from government worked on Monday and Tuesday, and I would ask you to go back and be silent maybe for the next day or two, and to let the process move through Westminster. We have to be conscious of that. I would ask, though, that in relation to contingency planning, and I heard Minister Donoghue this morning saying that a lot of very detailed work has happened, will you now publish the sectoral contingency plans on the basis of a no-deal scenario, and actually let the sector see what level of preparedness we actually are at this moment in time in Ireland?